there's something dangerous no one is telling you. The global economy is built on shaky ground, and it's about to come crashing down. Everyone's talking about how well the markets are doing, how tech is booming, and how we're in an age of endless prosperity. But beneath that shiny surface, a financial collapse is quietly building. It's not just speculation, it's not a conspiracy theory. It's history repeating itself, and it's happening right now. The signs are all around you, and what's about to unfold could be far worse than you ever imagined. Stay with me, because the truth behind the next global collapse is scarier than anything you've heard before. Let's start with the illusion. Everywhere you look, the news is celebrating the success of the stock market, how tech is thriving, and how unemployment is at record lows. You're told everything is fine. But here's the dark truth. The whole thing is built on debt. And not just any debt, personal debt, corporate debt, and systemic debt. We've traded long-term stability for short-term gains. The economy is booming, but it's all borrowed time. You're living on a debt-fueled sugar high, and like every sugar rush, it's about to crash. The truth is, more people are living paycheck to paycheck than ever before, even with the so-called boom. Consumer debt is at unprecedented levels, and it's only getting worse. But no one's talking about the ticking time bomb beneath the surface. The foundation of this boom isn't real growth, it's borrowed money. And when that debt gets called in, the entire system will come crashing down. Why is this happening? Why are so many people struggling financially despite all the supposed prosperity? Because we've built an economy on instant gratification, on buying things we can't afford, and on cheap credit. The real economy is not growing, it's shifting. And the consequences will be catastrophic. Here's the kicker. Debt isn't just a personal problem. Companies are stacked with debt too. These are called zombie companies, businesses that can't survive without cheap credit. Now interest rates are going up. That cheap credit is disappearing, and companies that have been propped up for years by easy loans are now on the verge of collapse. And here's where it gets even worse. Banks are holding on to billions in bad loans. They're about to feel the crunch when all these companies start to default. The more debt we accumulate, the closer we get to the inevitable crash. You can already hear the ticking clock as the system strains under the weight of it all. Zombie companies are everywhere, relying on low-interest loans to stay afloat. But once those loans dry up, they're going to implode. And when those companies fail, they'll take everything down with them. But it's not just businesses that are drowning in debt. Consumers are stacked with credit card debt, mortgages, and personal loans. The next wave of defaults won't just come from companies, it'll be from regular people too. That's the ticking time bomb we're ignoring. Let's talk about real estate, specifically commercial real estate. Offices are ghost towns, and banks are still holding billions of dollars in mortgages on empty buildings. These real estate loans are about to explode. You may not realize it, but this is the next ticking time bomb. When these loans start defaulting, regional banks, already fragile, could collapse. It's not homes this time, it's high-rises, office buildings, and commercial properties. And when these crumble, the domino effect will trigger a chain reaction across the financial system. This is going to wreck banks and send shockwaves throughout the entire economy. But it's not just office buildings. Retail spaces are dying too. The pandemic accelerated the decline of brick-and-mortar stores, and now huge malls and shopping centers are sitting empty, unwanted, and unusable. The bank's holding onto those mortgages, hoping for a recovery that may never come. The problem? These loans are tied to buildings that no one wants anymore. And when those loans default, it won't just hurt the banks. It'll devastate the entire financial system. It's another piece of the house of cards waiting to collapse. AI is hot right now. It's the next big thing, the gold rush of today. Investors are throwing billions at companies that barely have a product, just a pitch. But remember the dot-com bubble? Everyone thought the internet was going to make them rich, and look how that ended. Now, companies with no profits, no plans, and no real product are getting billion-dollar valuations just because they mention AI in their pitch decks. The AI bubble is inflating, and when it pops, investors are going to be left holding the bag. It's not a bubble. Yet. But the signs are there. The market is getting overheated, and just like in 2000, when the bubble bursts, countless investors will be left with nothing. We're repeating the same mistakes. AI is not the next gold mine. It's just another overhyped tech trend. The market is setting itself up for another dot-com style crash, but this time it's AI that's taking the spotlight. This is the dangerous gamble we're all playing. It's not just debt, real estate, or AI. It's everything, and everything is connected. One problem here leads to another there, and before you know it, the whole system starts to unravel. The dominoes are already in place, and when the first one falls, they'll all follow. Remember 2008? Remember 1929? We've seen this before, and we're about to see it again. The global financial system is like a house of cards, and the moment one piece gives way, it's all going to come crashing down. This time, the collapse won't just be in real estate or AI, it will be a systemic crash that affects everything. From the stock market to the housing market to global supply chains, the entire world is interconnected. The first domino will hit everything else, and we'll be looking at a global financial crisis far worse than we've ever seen before. The Federal Reserve is stuck. They've raised interest rates to cool down inflation, but if they keep them high for too long, they risk breaking the economy. If they cut too soon, inflation will spike again. Either way, confidence in the system is shattering, and when that happens, everything goes down. The Fed is caught in a tight spot, and no matter what they do, they can't prevent the inevitable. The system is going to break, and when it does, we'll all feel the effects. It's a waiting game, and when the time comes, it will be fast, unexpected, and devastating. So, what can you do? First, cut bad debt. Credit cards will bury you in a crash, so pay them off now. Next, diversify your investments. Don't put all your money in tech stocks or crypto. Hold some cash. In times of chaos, liquidity is power. If it feels too good to be true, it probably is. Watch the signals. Job losses, debt defaults, bank tremors. These are your early warnings. So, what's next? The question isn't if the collapse will happen. It's when. The system will bend, break, and eventually rebuild. But the real question is, what will you do when it comes? Don't panic. Prepare. Learn, adapt, like, comment, and subscribe to stay ahead of the curve. And be ready when the crash comes. Because when the system falls, only the prepared will survive.